In this week, we're really starting to ramp up that idea of image fidelity, and that is trying to not deceive with our data, as is common, and some of the readings that you had last week illustrated this. But we also want to take a look at what are some of the trends in displaying information and data visualization, and then how can we lay out information a little bit better? Not necessarily that works every time layout, but thinking about data specifically when we're trying to convey a type of information that is based off of previous information or collections of information. So this is where some of the recommended readings for this course come into play. If you're curious about those, go back and check the list. But then paying a bit more attention to how we can mislead. So John's discussion actually from last week really highlighted this. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go back and take a look at his discussion post where he noted, and it took that nuanced, fine eye looking at the original, but he noticed that the numbers didn't necessarily match the shapes being portrayed on screen. That is how we deceive with data. Even though the physical number written there was correct, the visual representation was not. And think about how often you glance at graphics and images. That's why it's important to pay attention to that balance. This is where we talk about things like a non-zero starting point. For some, it's considered a cardinal rule. You must always have zero on every graph or chart so that that 0 point can be conveyed. Otherwise, you could be skewing the data. However, I have seen compelling arguments for when you might not have a zero starting point. Maybe all of the data is up at the high end of the chart and there's very little differences between each line on the axis. So you have to zoom in on the top point in order to see those nuances. Just some examples, and I'm sure you could find others. However, what I really want you to focus on this week is taking a look at image fidelity and deceiving by data as they pertain to infographics or what we're calling instructional visuals in the class. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the expectations for this week. Please use the links on screen to navigate to the section of the overview you wish to access.